What's up, guys? Charles from Team COG coming at you guys with another Mermail video today. And a few comments asked, what can you do underneath Droll in Lockbird? And what if I told you you can hand loop your opponent for one, establish either the statue with a way to protect it, or you can establish 3 disruptions underneath Droll and Lockbird. And the comments all asked, what do you like if you know Droll's coming? Your first action should always be adding the shrine when you know Droll and Lockbird exist. And Droll and Lockbird is seen a lot of play in a lot of like main decks now, so that's pretty big for us because like we do a lot of searching, so that means Droll is always going to be on the horizon. So maybe it's always we should just play the smart way, right? But with this deck having the ability of over like some other decks, we're able to see the hand pretty consistently, like being able to use the minstrel, because we hard open minstrel and look at the hand, and ripping the Droll allows us to play pretty well. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this board, this fantastical board that you can put up underneath Droll and Lockbird. Please remember, if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell. If you want to help support the channel directly, go ahead and become a member, get knighted, get like your perks and rewards and all that type of stuff, and never miss when we go live and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump on into it, and we're going to get set up here to show you what happens when you get Drolled. Okay, guys, so this is our hand, just Prince, right? We just have Prince plus 4 cards in our hand, and just for the sake of the combo, it's just going to be just Prince. This combo can also be explored and used underneath like Teus and Dragoons. You just got to make sure when you go Teus and Dragoons, Dragoons searches your squad, and then Teus adds your shrine, and then you expect to get hit with Droll at resolution. You then have the same combo sequence underneath. Well, not the same combo sequence, there's a little bit more freestyle there, but still the same concept, right? Like always, if you're trying to beat Droll and you know Droll's an issue, always add shrine. But anyway, let's go ahead and start with the correct play. So you're going to normal summon Netibis, and then you'll use Netibis' effect. And so the question was sending Dragoons. So say you're sending Dragoons, and there is some instances where like you potentially have to send Dragoons. Like you want to get that extra search to get into Minstrel, and then you add yourself your shrine, and then you get hit on resolution, which you can still combo through this exact same sequence. But if you're expecting Droll and Lockbird and you're going to add to shrine, why would you send Dragoons if you're expecting Droll and Lockbird? Just to lose this ability, lose this body that you'd get here. So the correct play is to just go ahead and do your normal combo and send the Shadow Squad. So then you add Shrine. On resolution, you get hit with Droll and Lockbird. Shadow Shrine resolves, summoning out your Mermail Abyss Pike. Remember, we're under Droll, so no more adding cards from the deck to the hand. We'll go ahead and use Shrine effect here to go ahead and tribute it, to go ahead and summon out the Deep Sea King Coelacanth over here in the far corner. And I recommend leaving this corner right here, over here, open. So then the Prince will trigger, summoning out our Shadow Squad. Now this is really cool because this not only beats Droll, but it beats Effect Veiler and Imperm if they have it in combination with Droll, because once you activate Deep Sea Coelacanth here by discarding a card, you have a fish on field to be able to tribute to stop anything that targets this card to negate it. So anything that targets this, like I said, Effect Veiler, Imperm, you contribute the Pike, and then you can play on that way. And it's almost like it's almost like the Imperm didn't matter, simply because you're gonna be able to summon the other Pike from the deck, because we only have Spice to summon 2, and we're gonna be able to summon back the second and third copy of Pike that way. So anyway, you summon out over here your Abyss Pike, and over here your Grethus. From this moment on, you go ahead and synchro summon here into the Monosieros effect to go ahead and bring back out Abyss Pike here. And this is important because you got to free up space. Go ahead and commit over here in the far right corner your rank 4 of Kraken. So I'm playing Kraken because, again, the name of the game now is you establish your statue, and you need to have ways to protect the statue. Kraken is one of those ways that you can do it by being able to pop something that would be normal summon that can whack over a statue. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and to signify, so this is important, they are down 1 card in their hand because they threw Droll and Lockbird at us, right? So we're going to go ahead and overlay here into our Abyss Sprite effect to go ahead and reborn out our Grethus. Now, if you do know, like I said, they've used 1 card, they have 4 cards left in their hand. You can activate Grethus effect to go ahead and reborn out the Spirit here. And right here, this is how we end up hand looping him one more time. We just go ahead and hard synchro summon into Trishula, banishing the Droll in the grave, banishing a card in their hand. So now they've technically down 2 cards in their hand, which is pretty crazy. We go ahead and smack onto the Abyss Sprite, the Poseidon, the Dragon Lord, and then we go ahead and link here into our Marine Cess Coral Anemone, using the Dragon Lord's effect, discarding a card, to go ahead and summon out our 3 in the graveyard. Now, do take note, you can do this differently too. You can potentially go the line to bury your statue. You just choose to summon out the Prince. So I'll just go ahead and showcase that real quick here. So you summon out these 3 right here, and then you synchro summon here for Prima Donna. We go ahead and use Prima Donna's effect to go ahead and summon out our barrier statue. And then you can, it's kind of like, it's freestyle in a way, if you want to. Arguably put this right here, summon out the torrent here, and then you can use the enemy to bring back out your Netibus, make Dragite, then your inboard is this Dragite and this Dragite and Kraken. But again, like, you fall suitable to potentially multiple imperms and stuff like that. So normally you can go like this and then link these up here into the prince, or the king, excuse me. He's no longer the prince. He is the king. And then this is that line of play. And of course, remember, you could put Dragite here, Chronoman would be here, and you would still have that. But like, this is a potential line that you could do. But we're going to back it up and do the line that gives you the most forms of disruption. All right, so when you do the Dragon Lord, you just summon out your 3s here. And this is kind of important. You leave this zone right here open. You go and activate the Mermail Shadow Squad's effect, discarding, turn everything to level 7. You then overlay here for your YuGiOh. You use the Cruel Enemy effect here to go ahead and reborn out your prince. Set level 7 and 1 become 8. And then you go ahead and put out your Dragite. So here's I'm OCD, so I want to put it here to make it look uniform, but you don't want to do this because if the turn goes to you want to have an enemy's effect go ahead and reborn about, and you can't do that if you take up the space. So you want to go ahead and put it like here, maybe put it here, avoid Anima. I don't know if Anima's still lurking, but there you go. So underneath the Droll and Lockbird, you've been able to loop them from 1 more card. You've been able to establish a monster negate, a spell and trap negate, and a quick effect pop, a Dryden essentially, underneath the Droll. And if this was not your cup of tea, and if you're able to like know what you're playing against and you know how to win, you could have gone into the Prince and Torrent, the statue, and I think it's right here. There we go. You could have gone into the statue with Kraken, which again isn't terrible by any means. It actually is probably more game winning because it doesn't leave them to have any room to play, right? They can't just frame 1 imperm the statue. They have to go battle face. Kraken pops it. The only issue is you don't have a lot of follow-up in the sense of damage. So that means that next turn you're only going to be able to put on 19,000 and then 24, which isn't a lot. Whereas here, if this all survives, you're going to be able to put on 3,000, 28, 19. An enemy can bring back something, and then you can like further play, etc. You know, so that's the cool things there. But yeah, this is just kind of what you can do underneath Droll. If your action is always going to be add the shrine, always add shrine, always add it. And the cool thing is as soon as you fire off the Mermail YuGiOh, you just detach shrine and shrines in the graveyard, so then you can like pitch this card and draw into a new card, depending on what your hand is. But yeah, if you always are expecting Droll and Lockbird, this is the line that you can do underneath of it, which is kind of cool. But take note, again, if your extra deck's different, there's a lot of free form, a lot of freedom in the extra deck to play ever since we lost Toad and the Bahamut Shark. So like, just play accordingly and how you want to. This is just what my list can put up. And if you guys are wondering what my list is, my main deck is the same list I went undefeated with at that regional. The only thing that changed was the extra deck. And the extra deck incorporated, after losing 4 cards, incorporated Dragite, Kraken, the Prima Donna, Snow Giant, and then like we changed around some of the synchros and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, this is it. This is pretty wild. Underneath Droll, you're still ripping 1 card out of their hand, and you're still establishing something. So they're going to have 4 cards to your 3 disruptions. And if this is a hand trap or non-engine, like, yeah, it's 4 for 4. Trade for trade, which is pretty good. But yeah, comment down below what you guys have done to try and play through Droll. This is pretty interesting and pretty cool to me. I really don't like not ending on the king up here because the king just would make this feel so much better. But if you have an additional body in the sense of like Poseidra or Teus that you can put out there, you can potentially link up into the king, and then it would make more sense to go like here into so then like everything's protected and can't be targeted. But playing with what we got, just the prince by himself, go ahead and like he just beats Droll. Like, that's just kind of wild. And again, do remember, it's very important, your opponent has Drolled you and they lost a card off of Trishula. So again, and it's pretty nice if you actually if you blind hit too. But yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, guys. This is Charles and Team COG signing out.